Here's Coco Gauff talking about she's proud to be an American and representing people that look like me. Play the clip.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. And, obviously there's a lot going on in our country right now with things like everything. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know. But just to be able to be a representation of that and a representation of, I guess, people that look like me in America who maybe don't feel as supported during this time period. And so just being that reflection of hope and light for those people. And I remember, after the election, everything, it was a kind of felt down period a little bit and things like that. And my mom told me, like, during Riyadh, just try to win the tournament just to give something for people to smile for. And so that's what I was thinking about today when holding that, and then seeing the flags in the crowd means a lot. And, some people may feel some type of way about being patriotic and things like that, but I'm definitely patriotic. I'm proud to be American, and I'm proud to represent, the Americans that look like me and people who kind of support the things that I support.
So if you put a period after "I'm proud to be an American," and then she added on. Anyway, are we being nitpicky, or she covered all the bases here?
Let me just say this as someone that's always proud to be an American. Not a Korean American, not an Asian American, an American American. I think I don't want people to be too harsh on her. I believe that she is paying the guilt tax. That if you're proud to be an American and you're a POC, the darker you are expected to have some guilt and expected to do some finger wagging. Like, I give our previous guest, Miss Worley, a lot of credit when you asked her a question. Were you treated any differently? I believe her answer, as honest as it was, is going to rub certain people the wrong way. That the reaction is going to be, what do you mean? What do you mean your experience was good? You mean nobody harassed you, called you the N-word? No. See, I'm just telling you, because there's a pressure to, number one, feel some guilt. Number two, with that expected guilt, to then point the finger at America, claim some sort of oppression, whether there is or not, and you just can't be proud to represent this great country. I would ask Miss Coco Gauff, I'm going to assume that being at a tennis tournament, that a large majority or almost everybody outside of her immediate family that was waving these great American flags, Old Glory, they were probably white. They didn't look at her as a black American. If you're waving that flag for her at a tennis tournament, you're probably looking at her as an American. But I believe that all of these athletes, or many of them, especially if you're a black female, given the voting patterns and what's expected culturally for you to support, you have to say these things. It's part of the guilt tax that exists in America today.
I get it. It's part of. I like your guilt tax, but it's also part of holding on to your black authenticity.
Yeah.
And so to really be black, you have to wag a finger at America, or you're not really black. Yes, you have to be a victim. And so, but just like what Dee Worley said on the show, and it's been true for a long time, when you are supremely talented, like Coco Gauff, like Dee Worley was, like Tim Worley, and I can't think of Simone Biles' husband name that plays for the Chicago
Jonathan
Bears.
Owens.
Jonathan Owens. Yeah, these we've been, because even someone like me that was just good enough to play at Ball State University, in high school, I was treated awesome. My mistakes were overlooked and rationalized, and people put up with a lot from me because I was the captain of the football team and very important. But we all have to run around and lie and pretend like, oh, it was so tough. I had to overcome so many obstacles.
Well, Jason,
I didn't have. It's just not true.
Well, in any high school that cares about football, someone that protects the number one player in the country, they will be a coveted, exalted figure. So you earn that. But what we're talking about, Jason, and this goes for everybody to a certain degree, and it varies, is a racial survivor's guilt. That if you've made it, you still have to almost, in a way, be with those who didn't. those who did not do the right things, those who did not have the discipline, those who dropped out of school, those who got into drugs, you almost have to feel as though, hey, we are still the same people, even though you're not. I just find it puzzling that there's more and more younger Asians that now strike back and they do these videos about how we are not the model minority. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. You're making it sound like that's a bad stereotype. That's not something that anyone should be ashamed of. Now, we're not the perfect minority. That does not exist. But you see more and more of this guilt for success. And I think part of this really goes back to this mental anguish that they want certain people to have over and over again.
Steve, I sit here and feel like I have to share. I look at my friends, and again, a lot of my friends were talented athletes, but I also look at, my best friend from high school is a guy named Willie Clark. He's a very good high school baseball player, decent basketball player, but he was part of a successful high school baseball team, but he wasn't good enough to really play in college. But I've watched Willie build, he runs his own business. He married now for 30 some odd years, 3 successful kids. All the guy does is show up on time and do what he's supposed to do. And he's found American success and built a business. And virtually everybody that I'm friends with, all my friends, even everybody from college, we're all doing better than our parents were doing. And we show up on time, don't cause any problems, don't have drinking problems and all that. I just don't understand why we're trying to tell everybody that it's so super difficult to be successful in America. And basically all you got to do is show up on time, not have a bunch of stray kids, and don't talk crazy to anybody, and do your job, and you'll be fine.
Well, it's all part of that social engineering. And, Larry Elder talks about that a lot, about your percentages of success in life. When you don't have kids out of wedlock, you get married at a certain point in time, and you keep a stable job, and you further your education to a certain degree. But think about it, Jason, in the last 10 to 15 years, people that espouse those views, whether you are black or white, what do they call it? Right-wing / white supremacist talking points. And so that is not by accident. That is by design. I'm just telling you, Jason, I find it troubling when I see young Asian kids almost rebelling against the most positive stereotypes of Asians. And I'm thinking, your parents did not work 7 days a week, 18 hours a day at a liquor store to have you trash their legacy. No, honestly, I find it actually very dangerous to a certain degree what is going on.
Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.